But
Hopefully.
it's deceiving this time of year because even though it's as hot as humid, but these calm nights, I mean, mosquitoes are weak flyers. They don't like strong winds. So when you have these calm nights, even when it's kind of coolish, they could be quite active, especially around sunset and sunrise. So we're not in the yuck range. We are basically back into the high range the next couple of days, and that'll be the trend I think we're going to see most of this week. We could see it go back up next week with some warmer temperatures and some weekend rain. Temperatures upper 70s, low 80s out there right now. Crystal clear skies, but this is the system we're watching. It hasn't even really developed yet. Tomorrow will be just like today. It's going to be in the low 80s across the board. Dew points stay low, so very dry air mass, but notice Saturday a brief jump in the dew points, and they kind of hover near 60. There's a lot of uncertainty in this setup because the system just hasn't formed yet. When we look at the 5-day rainfall forecast, you clearly see the potential on the coast, but a little bit of scattered showers back in the Piedmont, and that's where it becomes a little bit more uncertain. I'm going to have a 40% chance Saturday and Sunday, and it could be extremely light stuff, mainly to the east, but it all depends on what happens with this low pressure system. High pressure over us now, but I want you to fixate here just above our logo. You see that low pressure developing by Thursday night into Friday and then trying to spread moisture in depending on where it forms. Does it form there? Does it form a little bit east? It's going to be somewhere in this area. There's not really strong steering currents, so it's hard to dictate where this thing will develop and where it moves. But we're starting to see the hint that maybe late Friday, a few bands could make it to our eastern counties. Now, again, Friday could end up being fine. The air is going to be really dry over us, so this would be really difficult to get in here, but we'll have to keep an eye on that potential for some of those high school football games on Friday night. Hurricane Center gives it a 30% chance in the next 7 days of tropical or subtropical development. They're both very similar, except for subtropical, the winds are a little bit stronger away from the center, and that's kind of what you see in our forecast for wind gusts. Notice not a lot going on until late Thursday. The low begins to develop, and you see some of these strong winds in the bands north and west of the center. Certainly going to be some dry air wrapping around this, but I would say anywhere along Interstate 95 East, probably the highest certainty of at least some type of impacts. Back in our area, it's a little more uncertain. I think the bigger story could be just the wind and the cooler temperatures as that northeast wind will be wrapping in here. So wind and rain possibly Friday, Saturday, but mainly east. We've got to watch it closely. Key part here is uncertainty remains. It's important to tell you what we don't know. We don't know where it's exactly going to form or the location. That will really dictate the impacts, but certainly the coast, a little bit more certainty there. Likely windy and cool regardless of what happens this upcoming weekend. The 7-day rainfall forecast shows the axis of the heaviest rain along I-95 east. But again, we'll get updates the next couple of days. If this shifts back to the west, you'll hear it from us first. Now, temperatures 60s and 70s tomorrow. Beautiful day in the mountains. Upper 70s near 80 here in the foothills, low 80s in the Piedmont, and again, just a nice day tomorrow. Your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast shows the cooler conditions this weekend. Again, no washouts right now, at least based on where we think the low is going to go, but the next 3 days will tell us a lot about this system. And then looking 10 days into the future, lower 80s next week, but looks like a lot of 70s and possibly more rain by the middle of next week.
All right, Brad, thank you. Still to